Hello, it's Steve Wilmes and Matt Kita, and we're here with another episode of the Risk Control Show. Today we're talking about school resource officers, active shooters, and then on top of it, hey, can they store their rifles, weapons on a school campus and in a little, in their office? That's kind of the question that came up, and I think it's one that needs a lot of thought. Don't you, Matt?
Yeah, I'd agree. It's really about the security of that. Who can get in there? How secure is it? Do you have a facility that's set up to store that kind of weaponry? That would be my primary concern.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of great questions around that. I think a lot of times we forget that yes, a SRO is in fact a sworn law enforcement officer, and also that some school districts have sworn law enforcement. So when they
Yes.
have that, they have the proper facilities to house certain types of weapons. They have an armory. They have safety features built in, such as a discharge chamber for them when they walk into the building, if they're going to take their gun off their belt and lay it somewhere. So we see this in restrooms. What do we have in an office? Well, we don't have much of in the way of those type of safety features. The other big thing, which you and I work a lot on, are the master keys. I hate to laugh, but in school districts, master keys are a nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I run active shooters, I always find a set of master keys lying around somewhere that I can use. So,
Right.
Hey, you're going to take, let's call it an assault rifle, for lack of a better term, but you're going to use a law enforcement grade weapon and put it into a office with minimal security features, and then leave it there for the officer to respond and utilize in the event of an active shooter. Well, that's great, except for the fact that you don't have any safety features whatsoever
Nope.
to protect
Nope.
that. And then custodians and principals and whoever else that they forgot to get the master keys back from or rekeyed it improperly has access to this. And I think
Yeah.
that's the big thing right there.
Yeah, like I said, it really comes down to the security of that weapon, the access to it. And keys are we've how many districts have we worked with, Steve, where the control of keys, like having a proper key program, feels like a secondary consideration for them. But if it's even given a consideration, they don't have a sign out sheet. They don't have labeled keys or keys that are necessarily specific to people. The master keys are present with a number of people, and
Right.
so you end up where a variety of people could have access to that office. I mean, there's a lot of issues, and look, it's a problem that can be tackled, but it takes careful consideration. You really need to think about who is going to be able to get in there.
Yeah. Well, how many school sites and master key issues? 80%. 80% easy. I've seen very few that have really good controls. So many times we walk in, and I don't know if it's from knowing us or whatever, but a lot of times the principal on site doesn't know us on the first few visits, and we say, hey, we need to go here. Do you have a key to your emergency bin, for example? Okay, yeah, here
Right.
it is. They give it to us. We walk all the way out there, walk back because it doesn't work. And then they're like, well, just take my keys. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Now I have a whole set of keys that I can get in addition to your car, right?
Right.
And I can get into anything. So depending on where that SRO room is, it's very easy. And a lot of times what else happens? Custodial staff are walking around and they're opening doors, and sometimes they leave their keys sitting on their cart.
They
And
absolutely
boom,
do.
if I'm
Yes.
if I'm a student there and I know that this occurs frequently, I mean, where did we go? Oh, I'll tell you, I was in Starbucks recently and walked to the restroom, and the keys to the back office were sitting in the door. Someone just forgot to.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I took them, of course, and well,
Steve, you can't resist picking up those keys
I can't.
everywhere we go.
I took it right out of the door. I went into the restroom. I used the restroom, and then when I came out, I did like a good citizen, and I handed them the keys, and I said, "Hey, these are sticking in your door," and they're like, "Oh." So I could have easily walked in there, got to their safe. I could have, got to wherever.
Course,
I'm
yeah.
sure they would. It's a small thing. They would have seen me, but, who knows what I could have walked off with if I would have opened that door, right?
Yep.
But the bottom line is, if you're talking about weapons, well, especially those assault style weapons are law enforcement grade weapons, you want those as secure as possible. So we have written many gun control policies, weapons policies for teachers to carry weapons on school grounds in the state of California. You may disagree with that, but we have lots of controls on it, much more strict than law enforcement. And I think one of the key things there is that if that is going to occur, they have to have the weapons on them at all times, never show it, this and that. And I think if you have a sworn law enforcement office, sure, you can have the proper armory, the proper controls. You have a dedicated location for those. But if you're just coming on site as an SRO, keep your weapon, your secondary weapon, not your primary, but your secondary weapon, your rifle in your vehicle, and park that vehicle in a strategic location that you can get to if you need it. And I think, it gets down to the specifics. Where are you? What kind of controls do you have? And that we're always happy to look at. Like I said, we've written many of these. As a company, we don't like to say no. We like to say yes, and this is the best way to do it. And only after you can't do it, then do we say, well, you haven't met the standards, so you can't do it yet. But anything to add on that one, Matt?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. It really just comes down to security and making sure that the right people only have access to that gun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, don't forget to check us out on Dollar Training Club and Udemy.com. Or is it Udemy? I don't know, but it's
I usually say Udemy, but yeah.
You dummy. Is that what you say? Udemy, Udemy.com. We got a bunch of training courses there. And don't forget, if you're watching this on the blog, check out the YouTube. If you're watching it on YouTube, check out the blog. You'll get the same videos, but we do put a little more content around it there. And if you need help with anything, please give us a call. Don't hesitate. We'd be happy to help you.
Yep.